Hello, welcome to Life Talk. It's Tuesday, September 26, 2017, and I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. I'm glad you are with us today.
Thank you for joining us. We had the Operation Rescue started out many, many years ago.
Yes.
And actually, we had Joan Bell on the other day.
Yes.
And what a lot of people don't know is that Joan Bell and her husband and a few other people that she was involved with, the ones who actually started Operation Rescue. Now, she didn't make it the household word that it eventually became, but she is the one who actually started it.
Yes.
And we had her on the show the other day. And there's some people out there, some troublemakers, as you might imagine, like Joan Andrews.
No.
Yeah, they're troublemakers, but they're the good kind of troublemakers.
They are the good kind.
That are doing what are now called Red Rose Rescues. And we've got Monica Miller on the phone with us from Michigan, who's an old friend of ours. Hello, Monica.
Hi, Monica.
Thank you so much.
I didn't mean to say you were an old friend.
Well, that's all right.
You're a long-time friend.
I don't mind saying it. I'm not the young lass I was back in the 70s when I first did rescues, so it's okay.
That's right. Well, anyway, none of us are as young as we were back in those days.
So the Red Road Rescue, that was a takeoff from the Canadian woman.
Right, Mary Wagner.
Thank you.
Yeah, we borrowed a page out of her playbook. In fact, she was at the rescue that we did in Sterling Heights, Michigan on September 15th.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
She and two friends of hers came from Canada. She didn't rescue with us. She prayed literally for hours outside of the Northland Family Planning Abortion Clinic in Sterling Heights, Michigan. And the Red Rose Rescue is a two-leveled attempt to save babies from abortion and defend babies from abortion. And what I mean by that is that the Red Rose Rescue, we will go into the waiting rooms of abortion clinics. We will give red roses to the moms sitting there just before they're going to be taken off to abort their babies, talk to them, offer them our love, our help, our support, and ideally to get a woman or more than one of them to actually walk out with us, to come with us.
Did you have any success at that?
It's the last time they'll ever hear a voice that, outside of the Holy Spirit himself, right, coming into their hearts and souls, to come out and give life to their babies. So that's what we tried to do on September 15th. There were 3 rescues. Alexandria, Virginia, and that was the one that Joan Andrews Bell participated in, and then the one in Sterling Heights, Michigan, and then we had one in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But the other part of the Red Rose Rescue is if women are still going to go off to the abortion chambers and their babies are going to be executed, we want to continue to be a witness to the sanctity of life and be a presence of the light of Christ in the darkest places on earth, namely abortion clinics, certainly one of the darkest places on earth, and abide with the victims of abortion, to be with them. And as long as the pro-lifers remain inside the killing center, it's virtually guaranteed. Now, we don't say absolutely because we can't say that, but even from my own experience in doing rescues back in the 80s and the 90s, as long as we were inside the abortion centers, abortions did not take place. The babies were being defended by our presence, and that's another aspect of the Red Rose Rescue, which, of course, then leads to the possibility of being arrested. Our goal is not to be arrested. That is not the goal of the rescue, but we're willing to take that consequence for the sake of abiding with the victims of abortion. We do have some YouTube videos that explain the Red Rose Rescue. So if people just go to YouTube and they search box the Red Rose Pro-Life, they'll get to a series of videos, and a couple of them are from our group, Citizens for a Pro-Life Society, that explain what we did and give an idea of what we're trying to accomplish in the Red Rose Rescues.
Did you have any women leave with you during this rescue you did?
In Sterling Heights, Michigan, I'd have to say no, though. Oh my gosh, I was in a conversation with one of the women. She was listening to me. She took the rose, and each rose has a card attached to it with words of encouragement, and on the reverse side are phone numbers to the local pregnancy help center. She took the rose, and I asked her, come out with me. I'm here to help you. We will help you with whatever you need, financial help, just spiritual support, be a friend to you. Come out. She stood up. She nodded her head. She stood up. I thought, oh, my gosh, within 2 minutes I'm going to be walking out with this woman. But unfortunately, the clinic staff person came over and said to her, no, it's okay to me. And unfortunately, she went off with the clinic worker into the back section of the abortion clinic. But that's what we want to continue to try and do. I mean, this is only the first time we've ever done a Red Rose Rescue in the United States. We do know that 3 women left the clinic in Alexandria, Virginia, but we can't claim, because we just don't know, that their babies were saved. But we do know that they left. Whether they came back later, we don't know. But they did leave, and 2 of the 3 were actually talked to. We actually know their names by the rescuers. There were 6 of them, including 2 Catholic priests, who talked to those girls. So we can be hopeful that perhaps those babies were spared, but right now we just don't know.
Well, okay.
Okay, yeah, and just going inside the clinic is just peaceful, and y'all sing hymns and y'all pray, and then of course talk to the women that are inside the clinics. What is the atmosphere inside of the clinic? Does it feel evil or I mean?
Well, there certain banality of evil. That famous phrase, the banality of evil. I mean, you walk in there, it's I have to say, pretty much just like any other. It looks like just any other doctor's office. Women are sitting there with clipboards, filling out forms. There are boyfriends. There was a boyfriend in the clinic. We tried to talk to him. The staff, I'm going to have to say, compared to a lot of other rescues that I've been involved with, the staff, at least at Sterling Heights, were fairly subdued. There wasn't any yelling. They didn't scream at us. I don't even think they ever used the F word, which one would expect.
Wow. That's odd.
But they certainly said, you're not allowed in here. You have to leave. And of course, we just basically ignored them, because our focus is to talk to the moms and not to be distracted or to get a debate about abortion with the staff. They did have a security guard, but even he was very passive. Never tried to physically eject any of us out of the clinic. I think they were just going to rely on the Sterling to come and do their job, and they probably expected that once the police arrived that we were just going to get up and leave, but we didn't.
Good.
Wow.
That's great.
But you're not seeing the hostility that you saw with the original OR.
At this point, I'm going to say no, but
anything's possible.
Mark, we're kind of in untested waters. We are doing something a little from the conventional rescue, and going forward with the next, hopefully the next rescue, we have something planned going forward. Well, this is all kind of an untested area. Even regarding the legalities is something of an experiment. We did not block doors, and not that I'm against that. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm totally in favor of, if you're going to block a door to save a baby. Nothing wrong with that. But the Red Rose Rescue is more focused on getting into that waiting room and talking to the moms, low key, as lovingly as we possibly can, and completely in a nonviolent manner,
Right.
to be inside the killing centers.
Well, you mentioned you were having some success with one of the women, and then one of the workers came over and basically hijacked her.
Basically escorted her away from me.
Right. I would ask that woman, I thought you were here about choice.
Yes,
And if this woman is in the process of changing her mind, why do you have a problem with it?
Right. Isn't that her choice?
And I've said for years and years, Monica, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before, they're all for choice, but they're not for you not choosing.
Right.
If your choice is not to have an abortion, all of a sudden you're the enemy. And
Well, right, and we're on their turf, and they probably, quote unquote, even though I don't consider it legitimate turf, but they probably figure these are our customers, these are our patients. You don't have a right to influence them. They would say that, of course, about sidewalk counseling. So I mean, it doesn't make any difference to them whether it's outside the clinic or inside
Right.
the clinic. It's all illegitimate from their point of view. But I would like to direct people to our website, Mark and Renee. We have some videos up there. We have an explanation of the Red Rose Rescue. And then if people want to contact us and are interested in this initiative, they can contact us through the website, just sending us an email, and that would be prolifesociety.com. No hyphens, all one word, prolifesociety.com. People send us, as I said, send us an email. We'll get back in touch with anyone who is expressing an interest in participating in Red Rose Rescues.
okay,
And
okay, Monica.
Yeah.
Is it prolifesociety.net or .com?
it'll work both ways.
Okay,
Phone all
good.
the URLs.
Because we have prolifesociety.net up on the screen.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. People can contact you there and find out how they can either get involved or help support the work that you're doing. Because I think it's really laudable of you guys. And
Absolutely.
I know that, the number of years that you and I have been at this, Monica, and I know you very well, the other side's probably going to turn up the heat at some point, and I know that that's not going to run you off. So
Right. We anticipate that. They're not going to go to say they're not going down without a fight. So
Right.
we need prayers. That's incredibly important that people pray for the moms that are scheduled for abortions and pray for us. We have to go to court now, and we're going to ask for a jury trial, and we're not pleading guilty because we're not guilty. And I just ask people to pray for us.
right.
Okay.
Well, we'll all do that. And thank you so much for being with us today, Monica.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you. God bless you both. You guys are wonderful, and I just want to ask God to be with you and support you in everything that you're doing.
Well, thank you. And listen, keep us posted on how this is going. And
Absolutely, I will.
our audience is growing, and this is a good way. As you know, we've been doing Life Talk since 1999, and this is the new way that we're using them. We're getting a lot more people watching than what we used to have.
Excellent.
And so this is a good way to get the word out to the pro-life community. So anything that happens, or you guys have anything planned, be sure to let Renee or I know so we can have you back on.
Absolutely, I will. God bless you both.
Well,
Thank
God bless
you.
you for what you're doing. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye now.
Bye-bye. That's it just keeps building.
It
I,
does.
I keep on saying, I keep telling people we're going to win. You can't not win when you have people
When you
like
have
this.
people like that on our side,
Right.
absolutely.
I've said that a million
Yeah,
times.
it takes courage to do something like that, but you know what? When lives are at stake,
Right. What's a baby worth?
yeah,
That's the question you have to ask yourself is what is this baby worth to me that we might save today?
yep,
And that's 3,000 babies today are not going to get saved,
yeah,
but a lot of them are going to get saved.
yeah.
And sometimes the pro-life movement doesn't recognize the things that it's accomplished, and you've heard me speak about this many times. But back in the bad old days in the 1990s, the abortion rate in this country was 5,000 a day. Now it's 3,000
With a larger population.
with a much larger population.
Yes.
Now 3,000 babies being butchered in America today is a national scandal and a disgrace.
Yeah.
But that's 2,000 babies fewer per day than we're being butchered back in those days.
Yeah.
And so we are making progress. We are winning this thing, and even the pro-aborts are admitting that we're winning.
They are.
So
Yep.
we can win. We talked about this the other day, and we've talked about it many times. We can win this thing within 30 days if one thing was to happen.
The church were to get involved.
The church were to get involved in this. If you put 1,000, let's say, old-time, long-time pro-lifers in a room and said, what's the biggest failing of the pro-life movement? It'd be our inability to get the church motivated.
They would all agree with that.
Right. They would all say that. 100% of them would say that. Because we all know that if this thing were to get in the hearts of the pastors in this country, and 10% of them, I said this the other day, 10% of the pastors in this country, 90% of them don't do a thing, just like they're doing right now. But if just 10% of them got activated, the abortion industry would collapse in a month. They could not withstand
Right.
what those churches could do.
It's true.
The problem is we can't see any evidence that they're about to start. So we just have to keep praying and keep going forward. And, you know, I've told you this story many times about one thing. I had Johnny Hunter on the show years ago, and he said he asked a black pastor, a friend of his, when he thought the church would get involved. And he said, maybe they have. And Johnny said, I looked at him for a while. And when Johnny said that to me, it dumbfounded me for a minute, because we all know they haven't.
But
what
maybe that small
maybe
portion.
the real church has.
Yeah.
Maybe the people that have gotten involved in this, like Monica and others, maybe that is the church.
Right.
Maybe there's, just because people go in these buildings with the cross on the top of them on a Sunday and sit there and sing a few hymns and listen to a sermon and go home and watch the Cowboy game,
Right.
that doesn't mean that that's the church.
Right. Yeah.
necessarily.
They don't want to get into anything very controversial.
Now, many years ago, I was doing a speech somewhere, and there was another lady there named Penny Lee that was doing a speech, and she had a presentation out at that time, a brochure out, and she was telling a story called Sing a Little Louder. And we've covered this new video that's been out on this subject on the show before. And we're going to show it again here in just a second, because I think, and we had the producer of this video on the show one day, and I told him, I think this is one of the most profound and moving things I've ever seen. And
Yes,
it's based
it
on
is.
Penny Lee's true story
Yep.
of talking to this man who, when he was a little boy, was in a church where the railroad tracks going to Auschwitz went past.
Right.
And anyway, this video,
It's emotional, if it doesn't get you motivated into stopping this
Nothing will.
Holocaust, yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
Your soul is dead. Anyway, let's watch this for a few minutes. It's about a 10-minute video, and I'm going to tell you, you will not regret 1 second that you spend watching this video. It is extraordinarily
really
powerful.
good.
Watch this.
This dream has haunted me for decades. There are some things that time does not erase. Sometimes the only way forward is by facing the past. This is my story. I lived in Germany during the Nazi Holocaust. A railroad track ran behind our small church, and each Sunday morning at the exact that same time, we heard the whistle from a distance and then the clacking of the wheels moving over the track. It was at the same time every Sunday. We felt the rattling from the trail of cattle cars, accompanied by the screeching of metal that would echo through our church walls. It was a Sunday in the spring that would change my life forever.
Jesus said, "Do not resist an evildoer. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn the other also." Loving your enemy. This is a far better way. This is how we were called to live. To understand this unnatural virtue, we must look to Jesus Christ as our model and our guide. His meekness was his strength. His silence, his statement to the world. We must pray for those who persecute us. Prayer is the mechanism that reaches heaven and moves mankind. Prayer. It's easy to underestimate prayer. But these quiet actions. Christ is the Prince of Peace. And as we better come to know Jesus, we learn to choose as He chooses. We learn to love our enemies and allow God's peace to rule within our hearts. Jesus, unser Trost und Leben, näher dem Tode war ergeben. Sieg und Leben wiederbrachst. Ist aus des Todes
Wie heißt du? Wie heißt du?
Du, verschwinde! Verschwinde!
Years have passed and no one talks about it much anymore. I still hear that train whistle in my sleep. I can still hear him crying out for help. God forgive all of us who called ourselves Christians yet did nothing to intervene.
We're back. I don't know what you say.
Well, singing a little louder just drowns out the cries, and driving past an abortion mill just
deal.
drowns out the cries. Not looking that way, trying to ignore it, drowns out the cries.
You know, I challenge anyone to tell me. You can look at this and you'd say, oh, if I was sitting in that congregation, I'd do something. Or if I was in Poland or Nazi Germany or Austria when all this stuff was going on, I'd do something. This is exactly what's happening right now. I challenge anyone to tell me what the distinction is between what was going on in that church in that video and what's going on in the hundreds of thousands of churches all over the United States this Sunday. And there is no difference.
Yeah.
The church basically in America has reached an accord with the abortion industry. And, you know, Father Frank Pavone told me a long time ago that when he first became active in the pro-life, got led to actually get out and start doing something. Mm-hmm. He found an abortion mill in New York that was directly across the street from a Catholic parish, from a Catholic church. And so he thought, well, there's a good place to start. I'm going to go talk to that parish priest and see what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And he said the guy was nice to him, invited me in. They sat down, and he said, do you know about this facility across the street's abortion clinic? Mm-hmm. And he said the priest told him, yeah. I said, we know what's going on there, but we've kind of reached an agreement with them. They don't cause trouble for us, and we don't cause trouble for them.
You know, that's Voiceless, the movie that
Right.
Pat and Stewart produced.
Right.
I mean, that exact same situation happened.
Right. That was Father Frank's
Yeah.
experience. He said the guy just sat there and said, we don't cause trouble for them, they don't cause trouble for us.
Oh, yeah, they do. More trouble than what.
Yeah.
What's
Wait till
worth.
judgment comes and ask how much trouble they caused for you.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to really encourage everyone out there in the audience to get your friends to either watch this episode of Life Talk and that video there, or just go to YouTube and just punch in Sing a Little Louder, and that video will come up. Because I think it's really powerful. I mean, I don't know how you can look at that and not be moved by it. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's where we are as a nation. Right, we're in exactly the same position that those people in that church right there were in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very
You got
sad.
anything else?
No, just share your thoughts for the next couple of shows. Well, we're doing really well. We're lining
Right.
up our shows now, so
We've got some
with
shows
show
already planned.
ideas.
Right.
Yeah, so just
We are getting people on board to help us out with show subjects. This was one as a result of a thing we've gotten, and the one we've got next week, we've got a couple of really interesting things already planned, and one for Thursday. So if you got an idea, something, a question, an issue you want to see addressed, something you think we're doing right, something you think we're doing wrong, something you'd like to see us do that we're not doing, just let us know. We need your ideas because, like I've said since day one, Renee and I are here to serve you. This is not our show. This is your show. We just happen to be the people in front of the camera. Anyway, that's it.
That's it.
All you got?
Yep.
Until Thursday, when we'll be back again, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you next time on Life Talk.
See you Thursday.